Good afternoon. It's our Monroe County Hurricane Irma update. Glad you guys could be here. The 5 municipalities of Monroe County and unincorporated Monroe County standing in lockstep together, facing this potentially devastating storm, catastrophic storm that we all know exists out there. We are going to give you a little update on where we stand and different issues. We're represented here today by Chief Callahan, Sheriff Rick Ramsey, Kevin Maddock, our Clerk of Court, County Administrator Roma Gustesi, Marty Centerfed, our Emergency Management Director, Jim Scholl, City Manager for the City of Key West, and Chuck Lindsay, City Manager of Marathon. We'll let you know exactly what we want to tell you about what's going on in an update, but the one thing that we want to emphasize as much as we can, we are now under an emergency evacuation mandate, both residents and our visitors. We would like people that are still here, if they can, to get out of here. Time is getting short. The issues that we're dealing with are potential catastrophic situations. We could lose our highway, we could lose our bridges, we could lose water, and you lose electricity. We are a unique county that has to depend on services from outside of the county because we're a string of islands with 43 bridges from Ocean Reef to Key West. So again, to all our residents in Key Colony Beach, Layton, Marathon, Key West, and the city of Marathon and Layton, we ask you to make sure that the evacuation notice is posted and our residents are getting out of harm's way. Marty Centerfed, our emergency manager, would you give us a briefing on what's going on?
Good afternoon. Monroe County Emergency Management, we have the EOC at full activation. We went full at 7 a.m. this morning. We have quite a few people working upstairs doing just incredible work for us right now. Of course, the focus now is on evacuations and preparing for other protective measures. With that being said, as of this morning, we started moving the tourists and visitors out of Monroe County, an important point being a tourist-driven economy for us. Tonight at 7 o'clock, we officially go into the required evacuations for citizens. We expect that to go tonight well into tomorrow, pretty much through the day tomorrow. And so we will continue to operate and move forward. We're watching this storm very close. With our islands only being 3 to 5 feet above sea level, it's not going to take much storm surge to create a real problem for us in the Keys. And so we take this very serious. We've got a great team, and I'd just like to emphasize that a question that often comes up, our relationship between us, the state, federal government. I can tell you from the governor all the way up to the President of the United States, we have had complete support. Everybody has been there for us. They're leaning forward. They're answering every need we've got and quite often anticipating our needs even before we ask. So right now I think I'm going to define it as a model of efficiency. The system is working the way it's supposed to, and I'm proud to see that. So, Mayor, I'll turn it back over to you. Or Roman?
Actually, the sheriff.
Good afternoon. Rick Ramsey, Sheriff of Monroe. We're talking about this hurricane, and it's a very dangerous storm we've seen out there. We are focusing on traffic evacuations. So far, it's been very orderly. Yesterday, we had people leaving early. Once they saw the magnitude of the storm, people started on their own self-evacuating, which we thought was great. The storm this size, we don't want to wait. So we had heavy amounts of traffic yesterday, last night, and this morning. Right now, the traffic is a lot thinner. I think a lot of people left early on their own before the evacuation order came out because they saw the size of the storm, not only in strength, but width and the intensity. So things are going smooth there. We are having issues with fuel in some areas. The Key West area, we have reports about half the gas stations out of fuel at this time. In the county, we're doing better off. We have fuel in most of our gas stations. Some have shut down to let their residents go home, their people to evacuate. Overall, emergency management is doing a great job working with the Port Authority, trying to get fuel down here. The governor's been very responsive. I spoke to him this morning myself about the fuel issue. He was going to be working with his chief of staff to focus on getting fuel down here into the Keys. There were some rumors about fuel being out on the Florida Turnpike. We've tracked those down to be false, that there is fuel on the Turnpike, those who are leaving. As you leave Monroe County, traffic is very light. When you get into Dade County, the Florida Turnpike, you're seeing heavier amounts of traffic and backlogs. So you should plan ahead. We're telling people to have a good hurricane plan. Leave now. If not, leave soon. Have a plan in place. While the computer models have shown it to take a small track to the right, and we are still in the cone, and it looks a little bit better for Monroe, doesn't change the fact that one little step back to the left could put us right back on top of the Keys itself. We have to take this serious, not only before when it was coming on us, but now when it's just slightly to the right of us. Computer models are just that, the best person's guess, and we can't rely on those to be fact. We have to err on the side of caution and public safety first. If this storm was to strike the Keys or any other part of the continental United States, the impacts would be devastating and the loss of life would be immense. So we are working very closely, like our emergency management director said, with our partners. I myself have been contacted this morning by Carlos Cabrella's office, our congressman. I've been contacted by the governor. And I've been contacted by Director Juan Perez, Miami-Dade County Police, offering help and assistance. The partnership, communication, cooperation, teamwork is what's critical to survive this event here in Monroe or anywhere else. We appreciate those who are offering help to us. We as well in Monroe offer help to those who need it should they be in peril straits. So thank you for your attention.
Hi, Jim Scholl, Key West City Manager. I'll echo what the sheriff said. We've got a great team down here, the emergency management staff with the county elected officials, and Roman. We're all working together, so we're all on the same page in this. It's a devastating storm. There's still not a lot of confidence exactly where it's going, and I'm very pleased with the response of the residents of Key West, especially those who took it upon themselves to evacuate early. The fuel problem is being managed. We're getting fuel when we can, but obviously it's important to get the fuel and then heed the evacuation orders. One thing I would like to mention is the Key West International Airport is open through tomorrow. I know Delta Airlines is flying out of Key West tomorrow. I think the last flight is around 5 p.m. But they've got 3 flights scheduled tomorrow, and that'll be the last flight out. And again, Key West is prepared and working with the county and making sure that we do things with safety in mind.
Good afternoon, Chuck Lindsay with the City of Marathon. All of us here in this room, all of the municipalities, the county, all of our state and federal partners have been working tremendously on a united front, keeping our residents safe. This is one of the largest storms that many of us have ever seen, and the safety of our people really commands that, or demands that we take it seriously and we err on the side of caution. The one thing that I wanted to push out to all of our residents, all of the Florida Keys residents that are currently evacuating and will be evacuating later on throughout the day, is to continue to monitor the forecast, continue to watch the storm. As you travel northbound, make sure that you stay out of its path. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kevin Maddock, Monroe County Clerk of Courts. And clearly the clerk isn't involved in life safety on the front end, but we've been very busy on taking actions to help bring the county back to a functioning society once the storm passes. We backed up all the court records, official records, and financial records, and have shipped some backups out of the state. And I want to ensure everyone that we have ample liquidity, and also that payroll will be met this Friday for the clerk's employees and next Friday for county employees. Normally we process that next week, but we've gone ahead and taken care of that now. So again, we're ready to get the systems back up and running as quickly as we can afterwards. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. One more thing that hasn't been mentioned, our debris removal contractor has been deployed. They've already put equipment all throughout the Keys. As you can imagine, we're at Long Island, 43 bridges, 120 miles, so we have to deploy, so we have the equipment ready to go. So I think we're ready, and now we'd like to open up to question and answers.
What's your message to folks, residents primarily, who refuse to leave?
Well, we're not seeing that this time. You know, I think there's folks that are waiting for the last minute. There might be some of that, but like the sheriff said, the folks have really started moving. I think the last 2 days you've seen a lot of activity all north. The only thing you see coming south is empty trailers picking up their boats so they can take them back. So folks are taking this one seriously, and we appreciate that.
Can you talk about, if for those who do stay, just getting any sort of aid or anything once the storm hits? What are the consequences?
Listen, if you stay, when we're telling you what you're seeing, and if you stay, you think you're a tough guy, then you're on your own, because this is a nasty storm, potentially a very dangerous storm, and we can't go out there and risk the lives of our first responders because of your irresponsibility. It's not going to happen. So you're on your own. If you want to stay, you're on your own. Don't expect us to to come get you, because we're not going to put ourselves at risk.
Can you talk? Go ahead, Ted. Can you talk about the biggest concern being storm surge? I mean, explain the kind of the magnitude that you're looking at.
Well, you know, they have the new storm surge models, and it's a problem. And our emergency managers like to say you can run from the wind, but you can't. You can hide from the wind, but you can't run from the surge. Is that what you say? So you say he's got some saying that's going to keep saying. The water is really dangerous. That's when people die. You can hide from the wind, but you can't hide from the water. So it's something that we're very worried about. Do you want to add any more?
Well, if I may just, we are different. Sometimes people wonder, why would you evacuate from the Florida Keys and go into the mainland of Florida if the storm could track to the mainland of Florida? The difference is on the mainland of Florida, you're going to be on dry ground. You're still going to experience hurricane force winds, but if you go to central Florida, inside the peninsula, you're going to be out of the water. We're islands here, folks. We live on a rock, 3 to 5 feet above sea level. The adage is you can hide from the wind, but you must run from the water. You can't stay and face the water, and that's the challenge here. It's a water issue that we're dealing with, and that's what makes us a little bit different.